Alright, good morning everybody. Had a long weekend grind. Ooh, someone's at the gate already? I'm just trying to get the stream going, guys. Calm down. Well, you get what you get, knocking on our door like that. So, this weekend we finished the grind of chainmail. And it took letting Kenshi run most of the weekend, if I'm honest. Chainmail's nightmarish and probably not worth it. But we were able to also craft our mercenary clubs. Gotta repair the door and get it shut. These dorks are gonna cause problems. I was getting ready to head out, but I think I need to get everyone food. But we spent all weekend getting the chainmail going. We've got perfect gear now. Everything exactly how we want it, within the limitations of what you can do without mods. The reason we opted for the mercenary club is it actually has armor penetration, damage versus robots, but it also does most of its damage through blunt damage. We were doing way less damage than we should because we were using katanas with crab armor that cuts our dexterity in half. So there just wasn't a whole lot of reason to do that. We may as well use a blunt weapon as our sidearm, and if we can get extra damage against robots, which is 90% of what we're going to fight when we're searching for new technology, all the better. Oh my goodness, these guys just won't go away. You are not taking anything. Alright. Squad 1, you guys go do your job. Oof. So the new weapons are really effective at doing a lot of damage. Imagine being hit by a... Oh, don't dismantle anything, you goober. Imagine being hit so hard by like a heavy baseball bat, like a big metal club, that instead of being cut off, your arm just tears off or it pops off. That's basically what happened to those guys. They got absolutely brutalized. Put down. Get the gate shut. No, don't open it. Repair it. So I put everyone on their jobs just so they can use turrets to stop them from coming in. Alright, now we can take you off your jobs. We will open the door, put you guys in front of it. We're going to pile on some food. Now I did go out and train on these, just attacking beak things and what other random bandits we could find, just to get some reps in so that our skill with them isn't absolutely zero. But nothing exciting. And now we're going to actually go do the treasure hunting. When I come in to have Hot Longs grab her food and get ready to go, looks like a lot of you still did have food. When I have her come in, I'm going to have her... Oh, everybody's low on ammo too. Hold up. I didn't realize that. Everybody's low on ammo too. We got to do a full loadout. So we'll put everybody on jobs. And then we'll take you guys back off. We gotta get ammunition first. Okay. I could have sworn we put all the maps in there. Maybe we moved them. Yep. There we go. Been collecting a lot of stuff to help us upgrade a little bit as well. Things like being able to load out our backpacks and whatnot. Actually have good backpacks equipped instead of tiny ones, things like that. Like that backpack, I'd rather replace with one that's lighter, has just the same room, and doesn't have the heavy stat penalties the other one had. And I'm good with keeping the traveler or trader's backpacks on everybody. They're going to help us make sure we have enough food and ammunition. So we're actually good with taking those. I actually don't need 2 people carrying around tools. But once we're sure everybody's got everything they need, we'll be able to roll out. Just takes a second to make sure everyone has ammo. The other option we have is to move away from the crossbows. We're probably not going to do that, but it is an option. Just because it allows us to not have to rearm with ammunition each time we want to head out. I'm gonna go 2 buck wild on food. We are gonna have to start producing some again soon. We still have tons and tons of food, but I just like to stay way ahead of it. Because if you're sitting around hungry waiting to produce food, you're in a bad spot. And buying food for 30 people is way overpriced when you go do it in a city or something. Alright, we'll stick you guys in front of the gate. Take you guys off jobs. We'll rearm. We don't care about the beast trader at all. We also did do a lot of Leviathan shooting, which took our crossbows into the 80s and precision shooting up towards 90. So we're very, very good with our crossbows now. Okay, we're gonna ditch this backpack though. That is a tiny backpack that we don't want. Actually, go with another trader backpack. I've got a lot of people in the second squad with these tiny ass backpacks. Alright, that's a little better. It just stinks having so little room to do anything. You really want either a trader's backpack or a large, sneaky backpack. I'd even take that over the small backpacks. But I'm really good with having the trader backpack. Yeah, we'll just do it that way. I honestly can't believe how long I've been running around with these tiny backpacks on these guys. Like, what a mistake. Oh boy. If I had realized how crazy it had gotten, and how bad I needed to update their backpacks, I probably would have done this sooner. Okay, back upstairs. We don't have much left though. As soon as I get some food on these guys and the rest of them have ammo, we'll be all set. I like the giant backpack like this. That one's okay. I actually don't want this crappy little backpack. Would much rather go ahead and upgrade. No, you still need more ammo. It can be a little bit of a logistics test here to make sure everyone has what they need, but it also lets us wander around the world rolling over anybody that gets in our way. So you kind of have to take the good with the bad. Alright, everybody's equipped. Shrike, you're not randomly missing a crossbow, are you? Okay. It's been a minute since I had you doing any, Oh, how did you end up with water? Why did so many of you pick up water? What's going on here? What in the world? I must have clicked on something, made them pick that up. But they'll grab the water off the ground when they come back if it hasn't despawned. They'll use it to cook. It's not worth the time to try and go put it away. I don't have any actual water storage, just the wells themselves and the cooking stoves, so it would just take more time than it's worth to put it away. I've already got enough water to do everything we need in the wells right now. Alright, everybody's ready. We've got everybody. Hot longs, where are we going? We don't want armories. We'll take a lab. Infested lab, that's gonna be fun. So we're heading to the swamp, it looks like, for our first little expedition here. Maybe we should look at multiple locations before we do that, now that I think about it. So we know the swamp has one. Oh, we have all those. Oh boy. So we knew half of these, that's rough. And it didn't mark them out correctly. That's okay. We know we can hit that spot here. And we know we can go into the pits if we have to in the ashlands. So let's check out this swamp area first. And then we'll head to less terrible places to look for technology. Hitting that good old Kenshi pathing. Come on now, guys. You need action? Well, don't worry. I'm sure the blood spiders are here for it. Stay together, guys. Don't split up. That's how you get eaten. What do you guys not get about don't split up? Okay, you know what? We'll just do it this way. That way, unless we run into trouble, everyone will stay together. So what I did is I just set this whole squad up to follow Hot Longs, the whole other squad to follow Soto, and then had Soto follow Hot Longs. And this just makes it somewhat organized. If you couldn't tell, the screen was shaking because all of Soto's squad was trying to follow at the same time and just ramming into Hot Longs over and over. Somebody's getting attacked. Well, I don't want to spend all that time Setting that up again. Looks like we're mostly sticking together now. Yep, there's some blood spiders. They're always hungry. This is an infested lab too, so we're gonna end up fighting a bunch of blood spiders, I think. I could set up to where it was an actual job for them to follow in that formation I had set up, but it's kind of a giant pain in the butt once you get into any interior areas. That's how you end up with a lot of people just stuck in a bad place. They'll try and follow someone and it'll push them into somewhere messed up instead of just standing somewhere normal. Yeah, this is going to be a nasty lab. Oh, and there's a big barrel of nothing in here too. That's terrible. That's terrible. Game, why are you like this? Nothing of value. Came all that way. That's alright. The next area we can check. We did do a little bit of this. Have we been out to the... We did the spider factory. We did the iron trail. There's not a lot of others that I know for sure will contain good stuff without heading to the Ashlands. I think we're just going to have to see if we can pull it off. It's going to be the most dangerous area we've been to for sure. But I think with our new weapons, we're a lot better equipped to deal with robots and just whatever else we run into. We do way more damage in melee now than we used to. Like the guys that get stuck in a melee fight do way more damage than they were before. It's going to be a little spooky going through the skin bandit territory, but same reason. They may not wear armor, but they are robots, so we do extra damage against them, which is really important because they have 200 health instead of 100 or 125. It's one of the other things that makes them really difficult to fight. Now at least our weapons don't have negative armor penetration and negative damage against robots. So the guys up front having to hold the line can do some work too. Or if we just get outnumbered, we're not immediately losing. I am working on some edited videos. I know that a lot of people watch the live stream after the fact. And kind of what I'm seeing from the analytics is that I really need to cut some of the nonsense, put a good intro in here, and do some video editing, and that format might work better than a stream for most people. So I think I'm going to work on having a little bit of both. I'll stick to doing the streaming because it's a little more natural for me. I don't know a ton about video editing as it is. Whoa, that's a lot of bone dogs. But I'm also going to... Well, here we go. Looks like we're getting the bone dogs. Let's see how we do. Taking them out. Hot longs, are you? Hot longs out of ammo somehow. How did I miss you getting ammo? That's terrible. The spade didn't get much. Who's got a bunch extra? That's what I need to know. Like, what a doofus move. I went through all that trouble to make sure everyone was equipped, and our fearless leader's over here with barely any ammo. I don't think Morn will sell us what we need. I don't love the idea of running all the way down here without a ton of ammo, but she can also just get in the front if need be. But like I was saying before the bone dog distraction, I think some edited videos that tell more of a story behind them, or even just instructional and keeping track of the timeline of what we're doing. One of the things I'm working on right now, I'm still working out the kinks of how to do it effectively, but coming out to Flats Lagoon right away and starting a hash farm, like right around here in the burning forest. The reason you come out to Flats Lagoon so early is you can actually start like a turf war between the tech hunters and the Western Hive. It'll happen on its own eventually, but you can actually manually just kick it off by hiring some mercenaries. So far I think it does matter if it's mercenaries, not the tech hunter mercenaries, but without mods there's pretty much always regular mercenaries in the city. You hire them, you walk down in front of Flats Lagoon, and you start a fight with the hivers and get your guys involved, and then immediately run away in stealth, hopefully before the guards even see that you were involved. And that'll get the guards fighting with your mercenaries, but also with the bug guys. So the Western Hive will start attacking them. There's other ways to do it too. You could just knock out one of the Western Hive guys if you've leveled your assassination, but that just adds more time to it. But you could knock out a Western Hive guy, you know, stick him in one of the shops that closes right before it closes, and then when he wakes up, he's going to try to break out and trigger the guards. But you can start that gang war, and then their Garu that they have, their packs, some of them are empty, but most of them have a ton of building materials, ton of iron plates, books. You can start a whole base off of just looting a couple of their Garu once they lose to the tech hunters, because they eventually lose. Right now we're just heading through the Skin Bandit territory. We're going to push into the Ashlands, try and claim some AI cores and some engineering. I don't think we need any more ancient science books. I think we're good on that, but we'll take anything we can get, honestly. Are we going to have to fight the gorilla? I don't think so. I think he's too slow. You know you've hit a point in the game where you can take on just about anything when you're just ignoring most of the gorillas and animals and bandits that you can. It's just not worth the ammunition. Luckily, though, even though I kind of goofed on two of them getting the ammunition they're supposed to have, at the end of the day, there's like 30 shots each in each one of those, so we have a lot of ammo. And we're not killing stuff like Leviathan, so we won't run out super fast. Something hitting me? What was that? Oh, sniper bots. Yeah, we're in Sniper Alley. So the crazy thing about running through this area, the Sniper Valley, is that you're going to run into these robots that have Eagle's Crosses equipped, and they're just going to shoot you as you're walking through. And if you're not in heavy armor, it's a lot worse than just, oh, did someone shoot me? Sometimes your characters can just get dropped. So if you're running through here with a solo character, you're not in stealth, you're in light armor or you know, sneaking clothes, they'll just pop your head. It's rough. They don't have super high quality Eagles crosses usually, but it's usually enough that one or two shots and you're down. And there's many of them. There's not just one of them out there. So see, here's the thing that's scary about this area. The skin bandits are these freak skeletons that peel people and then make these skin suits, and their stats are pretty incredible. Their weapons, they've got, some of them have pretty high quality weapons, and they're all robots, so they have a lot of health on all of their limbs and chests. Most of them have it on their head too. But I do think we're equipped to take them out, and they're always hostile as soon as they discover you, so it's better to just go ahead and start the fight on our terms. But if you watch, when we actually start meleeing, we are clubbing the daylights out of them. We actually do damage to them. We're not necessarily here looking for a fight, but I'd rather start the fight with popping shots at a couple of them than starting the fight when they decide to attack us. Now if you look, we didn't sustain a lot of major injuries. Mostly everyone was unharmed, which is great. Before fights like that, because I've come out here once before trying to train, and we almost lost people because the fights would just take forever, and we would take a lot of beatings. But we'll try and push through here. We don't necessarily want to take a ton of fights if we don't have to until we get to the Ashlands. That's already going to be wild. But yeah, we really probably can't outrun these guys, so we're going to take some of the fights. But somebody got grabbed, and luckily we caught him with our crossbows as he ran away, but he was about to get peeled. And getting someone out of the peeler machine is way harder than it sounds. You've got to pick the lock while in combat as more and more and more of those freaks show up. So it's usually way better to just try and avoid that altogether. So this is supposed to be just a ton of ash. It's not actually snow. This is just the ash from, I don't know, some kind of fallout. You never really know. I don't think the lore ever explains exactly what happened here. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is one of the coolest things we can find out here. This is basically like a mechanical Leviathan. Oh, we've already gotten noticed. Okay, so here are the Skeletal Legion. These are like the skin bandits, but with armor. And a lot of them have pole arms. Some of them have crossbows. But that cleanser unit, I want that. If we can take that out, I definitely want to. It's going to allow us to get an AI core, if I remember correctly. They're one of the few repeatable sources of them, if you can take them down. Let's make sure we're not shooting the hill. But you can see we're taking a bunch of these guys out before they get to us, which is really helpful. And when we hit them back with our clubs, it does some pretty good damage, even with them being in armor. Now the cleanser unit's trying to get away. We don't want that. I just don't know how fast they are. Pretty fast, apparently. Ooh, but we do a lot of damage. We do a lot of damage. Look at this thing. Gets absolutely blasted. And this is what's scary about out here is there's just armies of robots, robot spiders, just walking around. This thing, if this thing hits me, I don't even know what it's gonna do. I'm not trying to get a limb popped off at the start of the expedition. It doesn't seem to have too high of stats, but it had a lot of HP. Okay, so this is definitely what we want. AI cores. We don't need the money. We're not going to carry money loot. But there's a ton of stuff that you can get off of these. Copper alloys and electronics, if you wanted to stock up on those, that'd be pretty cool. If we can just get cleanser units, those were relatively easy for us to deal with rather than having to push into one of these domes. So yeah, if we could find more of those, that would be great. Ooh, what is this? Oh, not something I can even walk on. Is everybody here? What's attacking us? Something tried to attack us. So again, we don't want to let them start the fight. We always want to try and take the fight on our terms where we can. And that's why we can get that first shot off and take out at least one of them. So we're not really having much trouble with these guys. We're kind of just running them over, which is what we're wanting. We don't want to stick around though. I just want to see if we can find more of those cleanser units. I don't know how rare they are. I can't imagine they're super common. But usually when I come out here, it's with a solo or a few, like a small group of people who are really strong. Equipped with like Falling Suns, just because that'll allow me to swing in those big AoE swings. Like, I understand the math on using a Paladin's Cross instead, but it doesn't do as big a sweeps as you will with the Falling Sun. And a lot of times, it just is a more all-around weapon, and I don't want to craft a bunch of different kinds of weapons for different situations. So this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to take a ranged fight with us already on lower ground than them. That'll just waste ammo. So we'll come up here, start it like this. I don't think, yeah, these guys have some high-grade ancient samurai armor, which isn't bad, but it's never going to compare to what we're wearing. Oh, did I miss a dome? I completely missed a dome. We'll go back and check it out. It's hard to tell what anything is out here. It's all a ton of wreckage, and you can't walk over most of the terrain. Oh, there's another cleanser unit. Perfect. So first we'll take out these guys because they're honestly a little more dangerous. But we want to keep our eye on that thing and not lose it. just have somebody grab the electronics out of there. If we can take this thing down before it even really gets to me, that'd be great. You can see it just getting riddled with crossbow quarrels, just slowly tearing it open. There we go. I thought these things were way tougher than that. I wonder if they still hit like trucks and it's just their stats are low to kind of trick you into thinking it'll be okay. We're probably not able to pick those up. Yeah. Man, so the biggest, gnarliest thing that I think you're able to pick up is King. You're actually able to pick him up, put him in a bed, things like that. So he makes for a great target dummy if you ever just want to set something up in your base for guys to shoot at without having to leave home. I've just found it to be easier though, especially if your guys can move well in their armor, to just go to the Leviathan Coast. There's so many targets. They spawn in these giant hordes pretty much. I ran out of ammo way before I ran out of targets to shoot at. So I think we want to keep this high ground and have Hot Longs play bait. You know, it's kind of weird having the leader play bait, but at the same time, that's just kind of how we do stuff. Hot Longs doesn't hide behind her people. I am going to take everybody off passive, though. Looks like we might have been too high up the hill, sadly. We're going to have to see if anybody important is here. There's a few of these robots that are going to be not just Legion. They're going to actually be an important member of Catlon's old crew. How long can you bait the rest of them? Or is that it? I think that was it guarding this place. Another AI core, excellent. I think we still need some engineering research, so that's good. Is there anything else down here I missed? Okay, looks like that's it for this area. Some of the robots are coming back in. It won't be much trouble, they're already half beaten. It kind of stinks how the camera is in relation to the floor here. It can get kind of tedious trying to deal with this crap. Maybe if I just base it on Hot Longs, that'll help. Oh boy, there's a lot of safes up here. Whoa, slow your roll. There's a lot of safes up here to go through. All the AI cores. Look at that. It pays to be able to come down here and raid. We will take the robot repair kits just because they're expensive, not easy to make in large quantities. Alright. Is anybody beat up? Nobody's really injured at all. Alright. Ah, Slick, what are you doing out there alone? That's not good. Okay, Hot Long has 5 AI cores and some engineering research on her. I didn't really plan on doing anything but coming here to try and get some science, but I mean, we're here and we're not having any trouble. We could clear out all the ashland domes, find some cleanser units, clear out the ashland domes, see if there's anybody interesting down here. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for more cleanser units. That was 2 extra free AI cores with a bunch of crossbowmen. Okay, we want the high ground at least a little bit, but we don't want to be shooting the hill. Slow it down a little so that Hot Longs doesn't get dusted. Hydraulic Knight, huh? General Yang. So there's one of them that's actually an important person. We're going to want to focus him down for sure. But Ty, go ahead and back up. You don't need to go toe-to-toe with that guy. So this is another place where you can get good Meitu weapons. There's a Meitu katana, and he's got an AI core. Which is interesting because you would think, like, that kills him taking it out, but you would think that all skeletons would have one of those if it's such a crucial part of them. Or maybe that explains why all the hostile skeletons are the way they are. We could make sure they're finished off, but we don't really need to. Let's put squad 1 here and squad 2 here so we don't get cramped. We'll have Hot Longs go through the loot. Man, I am loving how many AI cores we're finding. Because I know we need so many for this dang robotics research. So yeah, that seems to help. Once you get upstairs at least, recenter the camera on the person that you're taking up there, and that'll keep it from bouncing through the floor. Nice. I may have to have somebody else take some of these. Whoop, did it again. Masterwork assassin garb, huh? What are they called? Assassin rags? Probably don't ever plan on wearing those, guys. Ancient science book might be good. I'm definitely gonna need somebody to come up here. Who else can carry stuff? You can stack AI cores in a trader's backpack, so we're gonna do that. Alright, so that's 2 of the domes. There's 4. We gotta find 2 before. I want to find number 2 before we push into number 4. I'm not worried about doing them in order, but I just want to make sure we do hit them all. Let's go ahead and focus some of these guys down. Just the more we take out at range, the less we got to take this chip damage here and there. Let's go ahead and get away from those guys. Then we'll met up. I'm guessing 2's over here somewhere. I'm not that familiar with this area. I usually don't spend a ton of time here because it's so high risk. Like, holy cow. The sheer quantity of robot enemies is gnarly. That might be a dome. But it also might be just a giant pile of scrap. I don't think that's a dome. That might be. Oh. Yep, we discovered the dome. Ooh, that fight started a lot uglier than it's supposed to. Hey, look what else we found. Cleanser unit. So that is the dome. The shape gave it away. It's those weird egg shapes that make it an actual dome. And then we'll get up at least even ground with it. It does seem like it gets crossbow stun too, which is crazy. So that's 8 AI cores so far. Again, no one sustained any real injury. So there's no reason to turn back. Ooh boy, they're back to fight again. Rhinobot, huh? Feel like there's got to be more, right? We'll just push in together. Squad 1 over here, squad 2 over here. Yeah, if we can shoot at them while they're coming down the stairs, that doesn't seem like a bad deal. Are any of these the important guy? No. Well, we may as well just let Hot Longs get to work. Put her on passive for now. I don't know if there's like only 2 or 3 guys and not one for every dome. I don't think there's a high level guy for every single dome. Edge 1 fragment axe, that could be fun. Looks like there aren't any robots up here, but I don't want to leave Hot Longs cut off from reinforcements for any amount of time, really. Not good enough. We only take masterwork limbs. So it didn't look like there was a high level guy for this dome. We're wearing better chainmail than that. I'll be. We already have masterwork Eagles crosses. Didn't luck out on the science in this one, huh? Not one bit, but that's alright. Let's group everybody up. That's the dead cleanser unit that we already killed. Just wanted to take a look around, see if I saw another one. Oh, we're being followed. I almost didn't even see these dorks. Screamer unit. Yeah, still nobody important. I don't want to make you guys dizzy with the camera. I just want to try and catch any cleanser units I can, you know? It's like a free AI core at this point. Now, this dome could end up being rough. Give ourselves a little elevation. Let Hot Longs go in and bait them out again. There's the general. We'll take him out first. He's got a heavy Jeet Meitu quality. Yeah, I want to say having melee weapons that are actually effective against them is making a big difference. I mean, obviously our crossbow skills are a huge part of our strength, but being able to get into melee and do some damage to them is helping too. Oh, there's a lot more of these guys in here. Okay. That's alright. We did have a couple people actually go down. Those surprise attacks are never good when they get the drop on us. They're already up though, nobody stayed down. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't like fighting in here. We're less effective crowded together like that. Max's chest is jacked up. Ooh, AI cores and ancient science books. Yes, please. Double, you're not? Okay. Just wanted to make sure Double wasn't like outside facing a hellacious fight all on her own. We can put one in here. Did anybody actually bring their sleeping bag, or did I ditch them all? I think I ditched them all. Bummer. No, somebody brought one. You're just not set to engineer. Okay. Max, you go ahead and lay down. Everybody else, well, I want Max to lay down. I'm gonna take everybody else off of ranged. I'd like to stick around and go check out the last couple areas. I think we have a few people that need to rest up though. Yeah, we've got some people that are beat up now. That last fight was actually pretty tough. Another AI core. Perfect. What? No, that's not what I meant. And go up there. Why is nobody backing him up? So many AI cores. Masterwork Thief's Arm. Alright. Interesting. Wow. Random box had 2 AI cores. Alright. Where is that sleeping bed? Okay, we literally have the one sleeping bag. Okay, let's take everybody over here. And anyone who needs to rest, we'll put over here. I think a little pit stop will be worth it so we don't have to leave. Looks like most of us are doing good enough to not worry about it, which is nice. Somebody can pick up that sleeping bed. Alright, let's get out of here. Come on. That just wasn't the place to take a nap anyway. We're just gonna push on. Try and be careful. Ooh, Ashland Dome Ruin. An ominous place. It's like once they get into melee, they have to be reminded that they can go back to crossbows. Not sure how to get down there, and Kenshi's pathing sure doesn't want to tell me. Guys, come on, we gotta stay together. We don't want to take a fight with a group that big that we don't need to. We're not out here to try and kill every robot that ever roboted. I just want to see if we can get whatever's in the ominous place. We've come really prepared, but some of us are pretty beat up. I just want to get to where I can walk down there. The pathing seems to really be screwed up for this area. We'd love to see another cleanser unit too. I didn't even think to look at how many AI cores I actually need, but I'd rather have too many than not enough. Looks like from here we can actually get into the ominous place. You would think the pathing would be better for this area because it's just so wide open, but it's actually worse. It's one of the worst places to try and go somewhere. This is like a place where there are a lot of domes, but they're all cracked and ripped open. Oh, there's a lot of robots in there. Hold on. We don't want to get into the middle of all that with everybody. Let's try and lure them out. Oh, I can kind of see them depending on where I'm at. Oh, that's a lot of robots. Oh, that's a lot of robots. Holy cow. I don't know if we can deal with this many. Jesus. There's so many of them. Alright, what we don't want to do is get shoved off a cliff. Let's reposition a little bit. See how this goes. The green numbers are bigger than the red numbers by far. There's just so many of them. I just want to make sure we're actually, it's a little harder to do without the UI, but I want to make sure we're using our crossbows where we can to really pile on the damage. There's so many of these guys. What's going on here? Let's make sure nobody's on passive. Everyone's on hold and ranged. We attack all. These all just seem to be more and more thralls. I didn't see anybody that looked different. Benji, I don't like you being down there. Can you get up here? Goodness. What in the world? It's like an endless tide of robots. I'm glad we've got really good armor, because there's no way you're avoiding getting hit with that many enemies running around. Let's go ahead and patch everybody up. I can't believe we took those guys out. Like, seriously. I thought we were about to get our butts whooped. Yeah, there's so many of them, Grim. I don't even know. I didn't know there were that many in there. I totally expected us to get rocked. Skinner, you probably shouldn't be in the front right now. Skinner, pick up Skinner. It's a good thing we have all the armor we have. And crossbows, good weapons. How bad off are you, Skinner? Yeah, we'll have other Skinner pick you up. If that's all we got was one knockout after a fight like that, I'd say we're doing good. That is a crazy army to defeat. Yeah, I've never had, this whole playthrough, I haven't had that many things to fight at once, and these guys aren't jokesters. They're in the 40s, they're wearing heavy armor, they're wearing hackers. Alright, let's see what else is in here. Hopefully not another infinite army of thralls. There are still more in here, though. Maybe we'll fight from the top of the stairs. Yeah, this is a little bit more favorable terrain. Running a nice short line in front of us. We're also laying into each other, though. There we go. We'll set hot longs on passive and let them clean up the rest while I check for loot. That fight went 1,000 times better than I expected. I don't know why, though. We're extremely equipped and extremely, like, effective fighters, but I saw those numbers and I know that we're out here where there are actually really dangerous enemies, and I thought we were cooked. We came out here just trying to score some easy AI cores and ended up fighting some of the most epic fights I've had this whole playthrough. A lot of junk in here. More AI cores. All the AI cores we could ever want. Ugh. Camera's falling through the floor. Gotta stay focused on hot longs. There's one storm thrall up here. We'll take one. We'll take one 1v1. We gotta do that, right? That's only fair. Get bopped. Just a big, heavy beating club works really good on these robots. Get bonked. Just take his weapon so he doesn't sneak up and stab me in the face while I'm looting. I thought this was where we'd find Catlon. I know he's close by, but I thought that's what this was as we were heading to the ominous place. I guess we're not quite there yet. I figured we'd kind of test out how the fights here go, and when we just rolled over those domes without a ton of trouble, I was like, okay, we'll go roll over all the domes, that's fine. Who else has a big backpack? Come on, somebody's got one. Besides Scratch, really? What about Squad 1? Peace, your backpack's full. All y'all brought so much food. It's like, you guys want to eat. He is in the city out here. We're not quite there yet. It looks like we're not to the center. I just thought that's what we were dealing with when all of those robots came piling out. Okay. I thought we were going to see him and fight him as soon as all of those robots came out, but it was just another dome full of skeletons. It's not even labeled its own separate thing here. I got more AI cores than I know what to do with. We're going to ditch some of this food on at least one guy. We have a ton of extra food. And then we'll split the rest of this up. There we go. The only thing that stinks is we've always been working as a group. I don't have anybody that's strong enough to take him on by themselves. We're not going to be able to do an epic 1v1. We would just get stomped out. Oh yeah, so this is like the very, very late game. I hadn't even intended to come here and fight Catlon, but the first few fights went so well that I was like, okay, well, I think maybe we're actually ready for here. And a big thing you pretty much have to have is decent armor. I really think you have to go heavy armor towards the end game. And it really helps to have the crossbows. Yeah, this is Catlon's Exile, so that's like what it's actually called once you get close enough. It's just, how do I actually get to him? He's in one of these somewhere. But I've only come here a handful of times, and usually on like solo playthroughs. This is where I just was. I'm not 100% sure on where to find him. I thought he was in the middle of that big hole. Just have to go look around. Oh, here he is. Okay. So it's on like the southern part of Catlon's Exile. There's just a little open dome here. Oh, and he's going to give us his monologue here. But if you look at his stats, he's got 100 in attack and defense, high strength, high dexterity, and he's wearing the most dangerous weapon in the game. We literally cannot take a fair fight with him. We would get demolished. So he goes on and on about humans and what was the point. Said humans are monsters. Yeah, he's gonna be. So our very best character is from our OG group. She's got strength of 80 and 75, and melee attack and defense and almost 70 in both. Like really, really strong character. We actually had a full group of 30 get wiped down to 2 people fairly early in the playthrough. And she was the one who survived. And then it was just her and Soto as Shek. And the Holy Nation showed up to our door for prayer day. And you can't answer prayer day with nothing but Shek. They freak out. They're super racist and attack them. And those 2 people, after escaping a ton of blood spiders and skin spiders that ate everyone else, took on Prayer Day successfully, and then the assault after that. So we didn't give up and built back up a squad, and we've been whooping ass ever since. Yeah, getting wiped down to 2 people was crazy. We had a whole big base up and going. We were crafting armor. We had all sorts of cool stuff, and we just got wiped down to 2 people. It was rough. So he gives us his monologue. If he hits somebody, they might just die. Spade, you absolutely cannot be up there. Like, what are you doing? Hot longs. You need to be on ranged. Everyone needs to be on ranged. What is going on here? Everybody hold. Everybody ranged. Everybody shoot. And then Spade, you don't have any, so you just need to back off. But if he so much as touches someone with that thing, it can kill you instantly. It can lop off a limb. Like, having hot longs die right here would be the worst thing ever. So we're just going to all lay into him. I don't want him to touch anybody. As you can see, we're just riddling him with crossbow bolts. Holy cow. Oh, thank goodness. It's not really a fair fight if an immortal robot's gonna kick our ass either, so I don't feel too bad about it. I'm gonna pick him up. So I guess the dome we fought before was where all the robots charge in from. Yeah, he's loaded up. We decimated him. He's gonna hold on to those for us for a while. And then I'll have hot longs do repairs on him. So what is his faction then? Mad Catlon's Second Empire Exile. Huh. So we got him. We got his weapon. This is in my opinion, the best all-around weapon in the game once you're strong enough to use it. So crossbows are really good. There's just a couple things you have to keep in mind. With crossbows, you can hit each other. Like, if you watch, you'll see red numbers pop up even now, and that's from us shooting each other. Let's see them. Of course, they stop shooting the minute I say that. But you'll notice we're shooting each other. Now, it doesn't really matter as much because we took the time to get masterwork heavy armor, and you don't have to do masterwork. Obviously, you're not going to start out with that, but get good quality heavy armor as much as you can, and start out with the toothpick crossbow as high a grade as you can, and that'll level up your skill to where you rarely shoot each other, and the armor will make it to where it doesn't hurt. And eventually, because you are shooting each other a lot, your precision shooting goes up fast, and that makes it to where you stop hitting each other. So we very rarely shoot each other compared to how much we shoot, and even when we do, even though we've switched to one of the best crossbows in the game, we don't really hurt ourselves. But if you put an Eagle's Cross, even on these guys, I was still almost like shooting each other's limbs off. So there's kind of a limit to how much the armor can keep you safe from friendly fire. Alright, so Catlon, did you get repaired, or did everyone just pile on? Repair him. There you go. Who was out of ammo? Spade is... Who's got a lot of ammo? Hook Spade up. Now, the other side of crossbows is you can spread everybody out and make firing lines, and just kind of only use crossbows when you're going to set up like an ambush. Then you won't hit each other nearly as much, or almost not at all. but that does limit them a lot, and they're really good in these big fights as long as you have the heavy armor to protect yourself. It's one of the most effective ways to fight and beat the game. Like, that's the easiest fight I've had with Catlawn. This has been the easiest trek into the Ashlands I've ever had. Okay, yeah, I didn't think there was any loot. For some whatever reason, the final boss doesn't have loot. And I guess he's not really a final boss, but the toughest guy in the game. But yeah, this is like the very end game. This is where you fight the toughest guy that you possibly can. There's so much technology stuff out here. The only downside is by the time you get to here, it's like, what do you do next, you know? If you get to here, you've probably defeated everybody who pissed you off, which we have. You've taken down most of the bandits. There's not a ton left to do. Like, this is one of the last things this playthrough will do. But part of that's because I researched all the science. And we just wanted to finish it out. But if we're already strong enough to take out Catlawn and all of his robots, it's like, well, what do we do next? Typically, I mean, what I would do is restart from here and go do a new playthrough with new plans and new goals and make enemies with different factions. So I could take out Ten Fist, but a lot of the way I do my playthroughs, we're not really looking for global domination this time. Like I said, I'll set, certain goals. For us, we just wanted to have our own place where we could live and be left alone. And then the Holy Nation pissed us off. The Shek kept coming for tribute, so we tried to find a way to be allies with them. So that's what made us go take out the Holy Nation and the Bugmaster. But Tin Fist is like an anti-slaver. We already took down the United Cities. They're already dead. There basically is no one left that's still actually collecting slaves. Like, you'll still see slavers wandering around trying to get going again, but there's nowhere for them to take the slaves and sell them. So, like, we don't have a reason to fight Tin Fist, if that makes sense. And if we were to fight him, it'd go about the same way. Yeah. Now, on some playthroughs, like, that's why I try to have some kind of driving force. That's what makes Kenshi more fun. Try to, like, RP it a little bit. Just give your guys at least a generic sense of what they think is right and wrong. And some of them you can absolutely do Kenshi playthroughs where it's like, it's the end of the world, man. The world has ended 2-3 times at this point. It's every man for themselves. We want everything. We could do total global domination, but I honestly can't believe we took those fights. I cannot believe that we were able to beat Catlawn, all of his minions. It's crazy that we're already there. If you look at our stats, we're only in the 60s here. Our strength, toughness, and dexterity are pretty high. But, like, a lot of this is a combination of extremely good gear and going ahead and doing the heavy armor and crossbows. I would never have been able to take out that many robots without having crossbows, I think. I guess one of the things we could do is wipe out, like, go find the enemies that are still left. Like, I was terrified to even fight the skin bandits for any extended period of time. I could go try and wipe them out. But our main goal now is to get home with all of the science artifacts we found. And we will put Catlon in a cage and see if he has anything else to say. We can also use Catlon as a training dummy to get even stronger if we somehow decide we need to. Hand him a rusty pipe and let him fight us. I use mods. So the purpose of this playthrough was kind of to show everybody what you can do with just the base game. So I have mods like the UI. I have the dark UI. I've got some mods that should make the map a little more clear. And then I have mods that reduce the clutter. It's like graphics efficiency. You know, it just kind of improves your performance in general ways, removes junk. Yeah, I could use him for training. I could use him for training martial arts if we wanted to do that. Martial arts kind of sucks in heavy armor most of the time, but it's possible. I could use him to train us up, and then we could go and actually clear the map of, well, the Hive. You know what? We have to take down the Western Hive. So they attacked the tech hunters in Flats Lagoon. So we could use that as our excuse since we've worked with the tech hunters this whole time. We could say we've got to take them out. That'll be another big fight for us. But see, all these crossbows, you can see some of them. Some of the most dangerous units you'll see early game are dust bandits because they'll have these guys with crossbows popping shots in the background. And they can stun you, they can knock you back. Like you see how they get shot and knocked back. And we're able to just do damage like crazy. But mods, no, I'm only using mods that like make the game run better or make the pathing better. You can get some mods that make them have less issues with pathing. Nothing will ever fix it 100%, but it'll make sure they have a lot less issues than you normally would. Normally, I run a ton of mods. My favorite is the one that makes the squad limit 50 and the maximum number of characters you can have 256. Those, and then attack slots times 5. That makes it so ganging up on people is more realistic, but it also means early game when you don't have the numbers, it's harder. Let's not let that cleanser unit just walk up and do whatever it's trying to do. Let's take that thing out. These things are cool. I don't know if you saw, I've fought a few of these things already. I don't know how hard they hit, and we've come so far. I'd hate to lose somebody, especially hot longs, to like that guy attacking and doing infinite damage, just and his stats don't really make it obvious. Oh, he's not that bad. Okay, he just AoEs everyone. Well, we don't want to just sit and eat that. We'll speed this up a little, turn off block. No! Oh no, Catlon got dropped. That's not good. That's not good at all. We're starting to actually get beat down. Okay, that thing's down and out. Someone pull its AI core, please. Catlon's back up and standing again. Whoa, what is everybody doing? Attack Catlon. Yeah, that's not good at all. We're getting whooped. I underestimated how bad it was going to hurt having that guy pummeling all of us. Come on. We've been stomping our way through this place, and now we run into these guys and we're having trouble. I never should have let us get AoE'd by that cleanser unit. Yeah, at least he doesn't have that weapon. We just got to make sure we pick him back up and don't leave without him. We gotta shoot these guys, Take them out. Catlon's fighting the robots. What in the world? No, sir, you get back here. You're not running away. We gotta take out those crossbow guys. Hey, come back here. No. I gotta keep an eye on him. Last thing I want to do is have to go find him again. Turn him into a pincushion again. Alright. Who's not very hurt? Is anybody not very hurt? We're all very hurt. Ugh. Well, at least he's down. We'll speed it up, see if we can get through this. Bombing him. Can you loot that guy so he doesn't stand up and clean our clocks again? Thank you. Alright, now we've got to put everybody back on hold. Run as fast as you can, and medic. Whew. Yeah, he tried to bail on us. That was an ugly fight. Yeah, see, now our little hits hitting each other is not great. We're going to stop using our crossbows because the 1 or 2 hits are knocking us back out. Oh, no. Okay, maybe we're back to using crossbows. We need to win, and we need to win now. There's so many robots. We got to get the hell out of here. They just keep coming. I do want to make sure Catlon doesn't randomly disappear on me. I know he's in here somewhere. Oh my goodness, come on. Now this is just getting silly. They just keep streaming in. We're almost to the point of being all knocked down. They finally got us with their numbers. Oh man, not this again. We were winning so hard. Can anybody still use your crossbows? Okay. Yeah, make sure Hot Longs doesn't die. Alright, let's get back on hold. Oh my god. Oh man, I think that it may be what's happening is that they're coming to rescue him. And if that's the case, we're hosed. We're never gonna make it. We're too injured. We're not gonna make it out of here with him in tow. That frickin' giant cleanser unit keeps bouncing around. Alright, we'll take everyone off hold. And we'll get cinematic with this. If we're gonna go out, we'll go out in style, but I don't think we'll die here. It's just, will we be able to get Catlon, or are we gonna have to leave without him? Because they don't kill you if you just stay down. I mean, it looks like we're still winning. We're just really down and out. It's crazy that we're still winning. Question is, where is Catlon in all this hot mess? I have to pick up every stupid robot I can. I hope he didn't run off somehow and I missed it. That's always a risk with speeding it up like that. Alright, how are we doing, guys? Nobody's lost a limb yet. That's good. There he is. Let's attack that guy. Get him back on the ground ASAP. Oh my god, he's good at martial arts. Since when? He's got like a 40 in martial arts in heavy armor. Jesus. I don't want to leave without him, but we might have to. Okay, we're gonna come off ranged. Just kebab him. Oh, maybe not. Ugh! Somebody shot Stubbs! So the problem is you can't shoot at Catlon if there's any of his friendly units around, I don't think. Guys, shoot him. What are we doing? Attack him, something. Yeah, no, they won't shoot him. Maybe we're out of ammo, too. No, there's still ammo. Alright, who's the least dorked up? No, he was fighting us, just he got shot there at the end. But yeah, a lot of our guys are just standing there, doing who knows what. Alright. We've got to try and pick up everybody that's on the ground. Is that everybody? Yep, we are leaving. We are. Oh no. So the problem with leaving. Crap. We might not be leaving just yet. The problem with leaving is we have to walk through Skin Bandit territory. And these guys, even if we had completely lost that knockdown drag out fight, they would have just left us there in the dirt. If the guys in this area catch us and take us down, they will peel us and finish us off all the way down to a man and woman. They will kill everybody. We cannot have that. So we're gonna try and skirt the very edge of their territory and hope we just hope we don't see any, or we are completely boned. We got the most wild beating we've ever taken. Unconscious, yeah, he's in a recovery coma. So we're just gonna have to try and go up the coast and hope that we don't run into anything. You did get here for like the very best fights though. Talk about, it's again crazy we won that fight. We got knocked down and all of us were beat up pretty badly, but those are literally the guys I'm scared. Oh, and there's a gorilla. This is gonna be one of those like scary, dangerous treks home where you're not even sure everybody's gonna make it. Because those guys are the ones I'm scared of. There's, 10, 15, 20 of them, and when they knock somebody down, they'll scoop that person up and bail while the rest of the fight goes on. They're not going to make any real attempt to win the fight. They just want to get away with your people and peel them. Speaking of getting away with people, Catlon, okay, he doesn't need repairs. I wanted to make sure he didn't need repairs. But yeah, we kind of have to just try and avoid these giant groups of skin bandits that apparently even hang out on the beach. But we're also nowhere near one of their HQs, so we'd at least have time to try and go save the person. But ideally, that will not be what we have to do. They're like talking about like it's a bad idea to go there, but it's funny, we just finished basically conquering it. I would say the fact that we were the only ones standing at the end of that long train of robots means we won. And if we make it home now, we'll have made it through the worst situation ever without losing anyone, without losing even a limb. Goats. Okay. We're not worried about goats. Goats are alright. Okay. We don't want to deal with fogmen either. For the most part, we're out of the danger zone, though. The skin bandits are the scariest enemies in the game, I think, because they're a combination of really good stats, and they'll immediately just grab someone and try to take them to finish them off. They won't even try to win the fight and then leave with who they can. Everything else, like animals, you know, they'll try to maybe eat one person, but you can attack them and distract them. What is this? That's a hive. I bet you there's hivers down there. Yep, so the southern hive, I don't think they'll try to eat us either, but they might beat us down enough that we actually die. I think we go back down the beach. We'll just hug the beach some more. It's kind of the long way home, but we're so beat up. Benji's still knocked out. This is the worst beating we've taken in a long time. And I think it's just because I let that cleanser unit hit everyone for so much damage. He was probably hitting multiple parts of their body, too. And that's the part I didn't really think about. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. A nice ruin? That can't be good. No such thing as a nice ruin. And there's robots everywhere? No thanks. Yeah, that's what they're trying to say. Kenshi has a sense of humor even with what it names stuff. We'll just keep on keeping on. Try not to start a fight with a horde of spider bots. There's so many. Maybe they won't notice us if we stand still. Oh my god. Oh, there's so many. There's so many robots. And every one of those does AoE too, so they would be in the perfect position to just stomp us out. I'm not sure if this is actually safer than running past the hive with how many robots there are. I didn't know there were this many mechanical spiders, though. That's kind of cool. This is probably the most end-game squad I've ever had without mods. No, leave us alone, Mr. Robot Spider. Looks like we're still faster than him. I don't even want to try shooting at people right now. More. These feel like robot outposts. There might be some science stuff in there, but we don't need it. Not after all the loot we got from going into the Ashlands. But we'll keep in mind that that's there. We can always come back. We've just got to get somewhere safe to heal up. I have a huge base built up that has a lot of beds. It'll have a bed for everybody. I actually took the time. I haven't filled them all out yet. I've pretty much just put a bed in all of them and decorated one, but I built everybody their own house. It was just something I haven't done before in Kenshi, and it seemed weird that everyone just lives in the same barracks when we've got the base to where we can defend it really well. We've got all the food we could ever need. We're making perfect weapons and armor, but we all have to sleep in the same room. Seems kind of lame. But it took a lot of extra materials to do that. Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. I'll be back at the base and you can see what we've got going on. I'm just trying to be careful. We made it out by the skin of our teeth, and I'd like to keep it that way, that everybody made it back. Looks like everybody's able to walk now. Good. Wait. No, we put Catlon down again. Oh, boy. I tried to put down all the people we were carrying and put down Catlon. So if you don't think you're ready to set up a base, you pretty much aren't, is kind of the general idea. You want to have some strong people. You want to be able to hire mercenaries. The biggest thing you can do is hiring mercenaries to guard the base, because they'll deal with the people harassing you while you keep building. Let's just beat this guy down so we can go home. There we go. How long does he pick him up? Okay. Can't believe I did that. Again. But yeah, the way I built my base, one of the other things you want to think about a lot is where you're building it. And Yeah, get plenty of recruits. You probably want at least 6 or 7 people. It's a lot easier to start out with a base in town, especially one like Squin where you can buy materials and you can mine relatively safely. If your group's entirely made of humans, they can be Scorchlanders or Greenlanders. You can go to Stack, which is the Holy Nation city right above the hub. And there's actually a copper mine inside the city. It's the safest place to mine. And I don't ever do like start out mining with my first guy, but once you have recruits so you can automate it, there's one small shack you can buy and you can stick some spots for uh, copper storage in it, and you can just automate having them mine. So we're surrounded by beak things. But you can automate having them mine the copper. I think it's good to do mining to get money, but you want to do it automatically. Yeah, and it's good to start there. You can just, if you have some Greenlanders, send them over to Stack. So these guys, luckily, we've hit a point where beak things aren't that scary, but... Oh, most of us are out of ammo, though. We're gonna have Hot Long stay back so she doesn't drop Catlon again. Yeah, luckily beak things aren't that scary now. I don't want to go through the swamp. I'd rather deal with beak things than blood spiders and lag. Yeah, I think a lot of people start in the hub. Once you get that first building going, that's a good way to do it. I like to go to the hive village at the start with a backpack because you start with like 1,000 cats. I like to go to the hive village that's near the hub and just bait monsters, whether it's beak things, gorillas, any of the animals, into the hivers, and they'll actually protect you. And their skins are worth a lot. So when I start the game, I try to like get some quick and dirty cash instead of mining, so I don't sit around bored. I'd really try to focus on not doing the boring stuff. I automate anything that's boring. I even automated my strength training. How's everybody doing on food? We're doing good on food. Good. Where? So you did you start in Rebirth? If you started as a slave? And how long ago was that? Did you? Are you still have to avoid the Holy Nation? Oh, get a load of this. You don't see these every day. Is that? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. That's an elder beak thing. These are the biggest, beakiest beak things ever. Hot longs, can you not? Can you just not? They're almost double the size of regular beak things. Take this one with us. So yeah, you'll have to avoid the Holy Nation for now, but that's one of the biggest hidden gems in this game is the fact there's a copper node in a well-protected city. You can only buy a small building, so you can't do your tech research there really, but you can set up a good mining operation where they don't get interrupted. That's the biggest thing, is it makes you the most money because they don't get interrupted, and it allows you to just keep going. Oh, Oh yeah, I don't like starting in Rebirth. Just escaping is such a nightmare. But it is an interesting way to start the playthrough, and it gives you that automatic goal. You just hate the Holy Nation off rip. You hate slavery off rip. You know, no character who's been enslaved is gonna be like, oh wow, slavery's great. Drag this big ass beak thing home with me. That's how I took down the Holy Nation. So the United Cities, you can take down their slave camps, and all of the soldiers in the main city will be starving to death. Like, they won't die from it, but they'll all be super hungry and suck at fighting, which helps a lot. But the Holy Nation, there's nothing you can do to weaken the like 90 Chads that are sitting in the throne room. There's just a ton of really high statted, heavily armored, well equipped high paladins next to the Phoenix. The Phoenix is a good fighter, and the Protector of the Flames a really good fighter. So I just kidnapped 2 Elder Beak things, like 27 regular Beak things, and the White Gorillo, and set them, like, just dropped them after I'd healed them all the way and let their wounds heal. I dropped them in the throne room and then ran and let them take them out. You can still use the animals even if you can't recruit all of them. I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy. Maybe I'll just lock him up. Keep him as a pet. Yeah. The worst part though was when they were almost all down. The Protector of the Flame was about to go down. Most of the Beak things were down. It worked out pretty great. They just kind of wiped each other out. But the Phoenix, their leader, ended up under a bench that was also under a dead Beak thing. So it took forever to find him and get out of there. Because you can't, even after that happened, there's still like 50 paladins, 25 sentinels, you know, when you're capped at 30 people, and this was the first big thing we tried to take out after getting wiped at the Bugmaster, there was just, we needed to get out of there with him. So I had to try and find him, and he was under a friggin' bench. Dust bandits are literally a non-threat. We don't care about them at all. We'll go around most of Shem. Try and actually get home. Oh, these frickin' blood spiders. A lot of us have healed up a lot. Walking around, you can heal up pretty good, especially if you're not taking a lot of damage, but I don't want to drop Catlon again. Unlucky swipe or two to the arm, and the guy carrying him drops him. But yeah, I basically had to cheese the Holy Nation a little bit just because I had no other way to win. I just would go in and fight them, and I'd lure them outside the city so that for the most part, even if we really lost the fight, they wouldn't capture us because we could at least get up and run before they could, you know, stick someone in a cage. But we were just losing and losing and losing, and their numbers seemed to never dwindle. I even set up turrets outside Blister Hill and lured them in front of the turrets, and they were getting blasted, and we were still losing. We were still losing. So finally we came up with the crazy animal shenanigans. So if you've got a building in the hub, ex-slave, are you recruiting anyone specific, or are you just taking anyone you find? Hivers, Shek, anybody? We are basically home. We are at least in relatively safe area. Kind of cheesed it. It was an elder and it wouldn't chase me. Okay, so you got a wicked martial artist then. If you were able to sit there and fight the white gorilla. It's crazy the way the beak things ragdoll when you carry him around. So you've got some pretty effective characters even in your small squad, or at least the one. There's one guy been chasing us this whole time? Are you crazy? Okay, yeah. That's gonna be the hardest thing, is figuring out how to make sure. One thing I will say is when you go to do a base, everybody's got to be a fighter, at least to some degree. They need to at least have weapons and armor and at least be able to pretend to fight, because if anyone gets through the gate, now you've got to deal with a fight. Usually you're really outnumbered. Even if you had 30 people, you can be outnumbered by any of the raids. So but all of these guys are crafters and people who make food as well. But I wanted to have a base where, you have people at the base and they're protected by a few fighters, and then we send the rest of everybody out, like our best fighters out to go fight stuff. I just didn't have enough people without mods. That's what the 256 character limit mod is amazing for that. The next playthrough I do will probably be with mods, just because I prefer that way a lot. And I like the idea of literally conquering the world and building a few bases across the entire area of Kenshi. And it's a lot easier to do that if you can actually just leave people at the base, leave some to defend it. Okay, so you got a lot of mods too, with the triangle bandits being there. So I don't know if the triangle bandits are I don't remember if they're an additional bandit mod or if a weapons mod adds them in. I can't remember, but I've seen stuff about them before. Yeah, so yeah, you'll still get attacked in the hub. That's why, depending on how you start, it's so good to set up and stack. If you use the reactive world mod, you actually can buy a large house and stack, and then it's even better, because then you can actually live there and base there for a while until you need to research the really big science stuff. Because you'll be able to research it there, but it's hard. Okay, yeah. I might have to try that one. I kind of like the vanilla weapons in Kenshi. I've tried a couple of them. There was one for a pole arm you could actually use as a sidearm. It was like a weaker pole arm. That was kind of nice. But I haven't messed with too many weapon mods for Kenshi. One of the things I usually do though too is I'll turn the nests up to maximum so that there's tons of enemies to fight. But that has downsides. You basically can't go anywhere without getting attacked. But one of the downsides of that is the wolves that live outside of the cities, especially cities like Stack, they'll just attack it over and over until eventually the city will fall. Oh, we're getting back to the base at nighttime too. This is great. So this is our front gate. There's nobody here protecting it. I take everybody with me. Yeah, I'll probably have to try that one because I've looked at a couple weapons mods and wanted to see, and it won't hurt. Because if nothing else, I don't have to use them if I end up not liking them. But this is the big old base. We've got our wind over there. Everybody's houses out here. All of our crafting for different weapons and things are here. Yeah, it's a big base. This is a spot right next to Squin. You can see Squin from here. We're up on the hill near Squin. The biggest thing, being by a road will get you more random attacks sometimes, but you can't build over the road. So when you go to build a base, you can do what's called pulling up the nav mesh tools. So you hit Shift F12 and click on nav mesh tools and roads. So you can do this to do some crazy editing, but the main purpose for me, like if you're not trying to do any kind of world edit, is just to see where the roads are. So these are the actual road paths that the characters try to take and path to the most. And if you build a base wall that covers up this road, it'll really mess up the pathing, and sometimes people will just walk through walls into your base and all sorts of weird stuff like that. So if you're not sure, you think you might be on a road, it's better to turn that on and double check, make sure you're not building over a road. Yeah, it caused me such a headache. My used to be favorite place to build is over here because I just have a Greenlander answer the door. The area is huge. You get tons of copper, iron, and stone. I almost always have hydroponics before I make a base, so I don't have to care if there's good water or fertility. And I built it just too much over this road here, and it just completely, they were walking into my base. When we would get raids, they just charged through an invisible hole in the wall. It was rough. Beak things would wander in and start munching on people. But yeah, we've got a whole bunch of steel refinery, automated mines. We've got all of our crafting here. This is where we make our food. So our food production is cracked. We have so much food, we could stop making food for weeks and weeks and not run out. And then this is where we made the hemp and stuff. This is what we did to get our fabrics. We also made a bunch of hashish for money. But by the time we really got it up and running, we didn't need money anymore. We were so self-sufficient. Let's go put Catlon in a cage and see what he says. Nothing. He got nothing to say now. Well, that's lame. Who's got the beak thing? Infinite Wing Wang. No, you don't have the beak thing. Is it Wish? So we're gonna see. Yeah, it didn't start super organized, so let me actually get this beak thing put down. I'll go over some of the stuff that I did. So if I can get him in here just right, he'll actually stay in there. But it didn't start perfectly organized. It was basically these buildings, and the base was ending right here. It was much smaller, much smaller. And then I realized the only stone up on this area is in this corner. And I had to extend the base more so I could actually make my own building materials. But I've built and rebuilt and taken apart and wasted so many materials just trying to make it more organized. But probably the best thing I've got going is this hallway with turrets. That's always really good. You'll see a lot of people use that so that they can shoot everybody that attacks the gate. But the reality is that because it's Kenshi, you know, so there's some buggy stuff. When a big group of people pile against the gate, some of them will get phased through. They'll get like shoved through the door. So I built buildings up here. Just put more storm houses here and put turrets on top of them. So when the 1, 2, or 3 guys phase through, instead of attacking my guys in the back, they get shot in the face immediately, and we don't have to worry about it. So if anybody gets through the actual gate, they're just running into another firing line. And then these are the houses for everybody. This base is one of the biggest I've ever made. I just wanted to have everybody on the turrets doing turret guard so that we don't have to deal with random attacks. The worst part without them, I use a cannibalism mod, not so much to do cannibal play, but you could do that, like play as cannibals, but it lets you take an item out of them that's basically just meat, and when you do that, they die. Come on. And so that lets you actually finish people off. But this is the kind of interior I was going to do for the houses. I stopped doing it though because I realized that when you hit B to build stuff, it's supposed to pause the game, and most of the time it does. So while I was designing all of these interiors, I was pausing the person crafting my chainmail. And that's 70 hours per chainmail. So pausing it while I'm trying to craft those things is not. And not 70 real hours, 70 in-game hours. But that's still insane. That's like 2, 3 days, almost 3 days of trying to craft them. And then if you're pausing the whole time doing the layout. But you can kind of put interior walls to give them a bedroom, sink. This is kind of one of those more like dorky things to do, but it made sense. It's like we've pretty much conquered the world. We're allied with the Shek. We've destroyed all of our enemies. We know almost every research. They should have a nice house of their own, at least. That feels like the minimum. Let's get Squad 2 doing their jobs as well. Okay, let's actually not worry about jobs just yet. We got too much loot to drop off. More AI cores than we know what to do with. Yeah, that's kind of the idea, is like that, you know, we've conquered the world, we should have a nice house for everybody. I thought that kind of made sense. And my kid got me into Minecraft, so I've got a little bit of that building a home creativity in me nowadays. Holy cow. Got more AI cores than I do books. Who do we have? I want to say it was Benji had the highest science. Yep. We don't need to craft any more pimp. Man, just watching all those AI cores vanish is horrible. Wow, yeah, that'll be everything though. We've got a bunch to spare. So this will show us how to make KLR arms, the strength arms. Oh no, durable arms, durable legs, the scout legs. Yeah, I mean, we've got so much money though, I don't know what we'd spend it on. We've kind of hit the very end game where we're on top of the world. It's kind of where you run out of cool stuff to do. My gate's almost a flashbang just because you keep it well lit so they can hit stuff, but I put lights on the houses too so they kind of don't just turn into a dark area back there. Our cooks aren't cooking. Oh, I turned their jobs off because they're dropping off loot. That's right. If I had mods, I think there's stuff I could build with an AI core, but I don't think there's anything that requires one to build. I just don't have room for this last AI core. We're just gonna have to store it. Yeah, I don't care about your wares. We'll just store all this extra science loot. I will probably check the wiki though, just to make sure I'm not mistaken and see if there's anything I can make with AI cores. Because that would be pretty sweet. Does anyone on Squad 1 have anything major to ditch? Okay. But yeah, once we've got that researched, let's see, we can do robotics. A skeletal limb bench. Yeah, most of the automated stuff, it requires it for research, but not to build it. It's like just part of the research process. As far as I know, the AI cores are strictly just a research component. Like when I look at, let's go to mining. Those are all just plates. The automated drill is just electrics. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to require it. But I bet you with mods, there's really cool stuff I could build with it. The main thing we can do now that we couldn't do before is build our own robotic limbs. The problem is there's no great storage for it. Like it doesn't have its own thing. I don't even think they'll auto haul it no matter what without mods. But we could make ourselves a bunch of skeleton limbs, but that's going to take grinding that up for a while. and then we could peel our limbs off and replace them. Oh, he got free. So I had this guy trapped in here, but he got free. Let's go deal with that right quick. And we're just gonna kill you off. I don't want an elder beak thing roaming around the base here. But we could make ourselves into even crazier super soldiers, give ourselves a ton of strength, um, give ourselves different weapons. If we gave ourselves a ton of strength and scout legs, we'd be able to run so fast. That'd be one of the main things we could do, is adding skeletal limbs to everybody, but it's a gruesome procedure. And I don't think I have anybody that has good enough robotics to justify trying it just yet. What does it take to make them? No. So if you've done it before, it's kind of an easy thing to do. You just set everyone to medic, turn all their other jobs off, and have them come over here to the peeler with the guy. And you basically go at normal speed. And yeah, you do have to take them off like immediately, but this is how I got even Beep. I used to have Beep. I had Beep. Beep died when we went after the Bugmaster the first time. But we used the peeler to get his limbs off, and he was okay. You just have to have people actively bandaging them the entire time that are pretty good at bandaging, and have as many as you can. And the moment their limbs pop off, you pick them up. And you can't do a peeling at all if any part of their chest or head or stomach are damaged. You have to wait till they're fully healed. That way their limbs come off before they die. It's gruesome though, and you have to sit there and watch. It's pretty gnarly. But you can kill them if you're not careful. You can kill them by not being prepared and having enough people bandaging them while you do it. There's also a good mod called surgical limb bench or surgical limb removal. It adds the surgical bench that'll just take the limbs off. You still have to heal them, but it won't damage the other parts of their body, which is kind of nice. But peelers are also good for your base because you'll get, especially early on, you'll have people that manage to get through the gate, and then they're piling up on the inside of your gate. So you either have to manually go and throw them out, or you can just peel them and then throw them in the corpse furnace. Yeah, you can do, just straight KLR arms and legs. You just want to make sure you buy the really good ones. It's not worth it if you don't have masterwork limbs. But you can go to the Black Desert City and get some good limbs. But if they're not masterwork, it's not worth it. There's so many penalties associated with them too. It's kind of like a trade-off. You can't wear boots anymore with the legs. I think that's the main thing. You can't wear boots or sandals. A lot of people use sandals. You can't. Like, all of the limbs have downsides. So we had people that lost limbs. Who was it? So they lost limbs against the Holy Nation. So like this one, you can't do stealth, but we're in heavy armor, so that's fine. But your swimming is abysmal with robot limbs. Your swimming is so bad. You will crawl through the water at absolute zero speed with 4 robotic limbs. You are tragically slow. You practically swim backwards. But you can have 170 HP on your limbs, like on your legs. The scout legs are so very worth it, though. If you've got, if you can get the crafting going for it, if instead of doing like hydroponics and weapons crafting, you went into robotics first, the scout legs make you so fast that you can actually outrun elder beak things. You're doing like 55, 56 miles an hour. See if I can find one. Yeah, it's 38% athletics per leg that you have that on. So I had those on Beep along with industrial lifter arms. I might have had the dexterity and strength mix, but cyber arms either way. And he was just a beast. Yeah, he could run in full heavy armor at the speed of light. If you take a stealth guy in stealth gear and put those scout legs on him, he will just fly across the map. You'll spend more time on loading screens just because he'll move so fast that it'll have to load the game more often. That's the only downside. But we did get the science we set out for. We got everybody home safely. We grabbed another May 2 weapon to store in the cabinet and look at because we're not using it. We figured out we can absolutely stomp just about anything in the game, apparently. It was close, but we beat an infinite stream of robots twice. So we just couldn't sit there and tank that cleanser unit. There's a reason I was worried about those things. I didn't know how bad it would be, but it's just, I think they hit almost every part of your body on everyone in the area. Or at the very least, they hit everyone in the area on one part of their body, at the very least. But we did get everyone here. We've got the robotic limbs, so if we want to try and do that. Question is, how do I make robotic components? I probably have to have a robotics bench, too. Wait. Okay, yeah, skeletal limb bench and then robotics. But I'm a big fan of these mercenary clubs when you're in heavy armor. But I did make a ton of paladin's crosses if we wanted to use those and kind of step away from crossbows. That's the only thing we really have left to do is move away from crossbows into something else. We could do falling suns. What else do we have? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get that set up. But that's the kind of thing I usually run off stream is I'll just let it run, crafting all of that stuff. The base is pretty much impregnable. Nobody ever actually gets through. Anybody that even breaks the gate, they just get shredded by the guys behind the gate. So I can just let it run while I'm making lunch or something. Oh, yeah. This is like crossbow crafting. This is terrible. Oh, no. Okay, so it takes a motor and a skeleton muscle. A skeleton muscle takes steel bars and a press. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to make a dedicated building for that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not gonna just stick it in here. That's part of how I've kept stuff organized too, is if it isn't gonna make sense, I don't do it. I'm not gonna have all of that put into our barracks room. I'll get that. I'll get another building put together, crafting those specifically, maybe over here. I'll probably need a large building though, if I want it all self-contained. Really low on raw iron. I guess it was busy getting turned into plates. But yeah, so I stream Monday through Friday, 8 to basically now, Central Time. And then I'll usually stop for lunch and do some things around the house. And then I stream later this afternoon when my son goes to martial arts. So I'm probably going to wrap up this stream here. It was fun chatting with you, Grim, and going over what I've been doing and showing off the base again. If you have questions, definitely pop by. I will be here. Depending on what mod you have installed, it's who knows, but most of the things about Kenshi aren't really mod dependent about what works and what doesn't. The main thing I want to do with these guys now is maybe look at turning them into cyber warriors, but that's mostly just grinding off screen anyway to get those robotics up. But yeah, I'll be streaming again later this afternoon. If I decide to wipe out the Western Hive, that'll probably be today. Since they attacked the tech hunters, we're kind of at a pseudo war with them. And then that will release fogmen all over the friggin' earth, so we might have to go on a fog wiping spree too. I don't know if we'll get into the nitty gritty of researching robotics, but if we do, that'll be cool. But this afternoon, I'll definitely look at taking out the hivers and seeing what we can do there. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will catch y'all this afternoon. And again, it's just Monday through Friday, twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon.